Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Tower of God New World. In today's video, we are going to check out the new SSR Plus character, White. He is officially here in game, and we are going to go over his best build, best teams, and of course, is this unit worth the investment? So let's not waste any time, and let's go ahead and hop right into the video. So first things first, as you guys can see, my White is officially maxed out. If you guys haven't watched my summon video, that shit was painful as hell. Like, that shit was so painful that I was about to uninstall this game. So if you guys haven't checked out that summon video, please check it out. It's going to be funny to you guys. But let's go ahead and check out his kit. So when we click White right here, check out his kit. His kit is pretty stacked. Like, I'm actually impressed that his kit is this stacked to the point where his revolution sub nodes are not even needed. That's how busted his kit is. Let's go ahead and read it. So first passive, Unquenchable Thirst. It says White applies a mark of thirst to the last target that he has used a basic attack against. When White uses a skill to attack a target with Mark of Thirst, he creates a sword scar that deals 200% of his attack as damage 7 times, cooldown 1 second. Whenever White attacks a target with Mark of Thirst, their magic resistance is decreased by 2% per attack for 12 seconds, max 40 stacks. And its attack is increased by 4% until the end of the battle, max 100 stacks. Only one Mark of Thirst can exist at any time. So, right off the bat, his passive is busted as fuck because he's pretty much getting like a 400% attack increase, right? He's getting a 400% attack increase. And then for the magic resistance shred, he's pretty much shredding the enemy's magic resistance by like, I think 80% because it's 40 stacks and he's doing a 2% per attack for 12 seconds. So that's like 80% magic resistance shred, which is insane. And you have the 400% plus you have, I'm pretty sure he has another attack increase here somewhere. I don't think so, but 400% attack increase is just crazy good. And the fact that he's a warrior character, you know, some people were worried that, you would need a bunch of attack because he's losing out on that attack increase because he doesn't have that in his revolution. But thanks to this passive, he's able to get enough attack to the point where you don't really need an attack sub node. He already has a bunch of attack, which is very good. Now moving on to his active skill, Spirit Suppressing Eightfold Strike. It says White increases his swiftness by 60 for 10 seconds and creates a barrier around himself equal to 600% of his attack that lasts for the same duration. Afterwards, he puts a Mark of Thirst on the furthest enemy from him, then dashes towards them, dealing 400% of his attack as damage to all enemies in his path. White is invincible while using this skill. So, just to let you guys know, this active skill is Spirit Suppressing Eightfold Strike. This is the first thing he activates when he enters the battle. As soon as you start the battle, he's going to activate this skill immediately. So this is actually pretty nice. Like the fact that he's able to activate this immediately, it makes him like an assassin type unit as well. The fact that he's able to immediately use Spirit Suppressing Eightfold Strike. Very interesting. It's very similar to a Kaseya. Next thing we have here is 7 Spirit Scarring Slash. It says White increases his magic pierce by 60% for 10 seconds and creates a barrier around himself equal to 600% of his attack that lasts for the same duration. Afterwards, he deals 400% of his attack as damage to nearby enemies. If an enemy hit has a Mark of Thirst, the attack coefficient of this skill is increased to 600%. That's crazy. Like the fact that he has like 600% attack coefficient increase for this skill is insane. And then last but not least, we have Flashing Azure Jade, Shining Sword of the Dead. This is pretty much the biggest part about his kit. This is where his true damage lies. White channels the power of souls to create a giant sword, dealing 1200% of his attack as damage to enemies in front of him with a single swing. That is a fat multiplier. That's like a huge scaling right there. 1200% is a fat multiplier. Afterwards, 10 blade shards fly towards random enemies, each dealing 240% of White's attack as damage. White is invincible while using this skill. So you guys can clearly see that this guy's whole kit is just insane. You have attack increase, you have magic resistance shred, which allows him to do even more damage. You have swiftness increase, you have more attack, and on top of that, you have attack coefficient increase to double his damage. You have this skill where he can pretty much dash toward the enemy uh who's far away. I'm pretty sure it's the enemy, like it says he deals 400% of attack as damage to nearby enemies, and he just dashes towards them. It says right here, he puts a mark of thirst on the furthest enemy from him. So he plays as like an assassin type unit. And then for his ultimate, this is like a nuclear bomb. Like this right here is like a nuke. Deals insane damage. He can literally one tap people with this ultimate. So his whole kit is stacked. And this really benefits him because the warrior class, the revolution is terrible. But the fact that his kit is so stacked, revolution isn't really a problem for him, which is very good. Now, when we take a look at his exclusive equipment, so for level 1, it says white blocks all incoming projectile attacks, while the barrier from 7 Spirit Scarring Slash is active. Very good. For level 2, it says white becomes immune to status effects, while the barrier from Spirit Suppressing Eightfold Strike is active. So, a lot of people were saying that Rafflesia set was going to be the best set for him. But if I'm being honest, if you have exclusive equipment level 2, Rafflesia isn't going to be that effective because he's immune to status effects and he won't be able to activate the 4-piece set effect that much. So the level 2 pretty much, affects Rafflesia in a bad way. So Rafflesia, I don't think is going to be the best ignition weapon for him because he's pretty much immune to status effects. And then for level 3, it says White's accuracy is increased by 50% each time he attacks a target marked with a mark of thirst. And then for level 4, it says White's active skill cooldowns are reduced by 0.5 seconds each time he uses a basic attack against a target marked with mark of thirst. This reduction is increased to 1 second if the attack is a critical hit. So the fact that he has active skill cooldown in his exclusive equipment is nuts. And if he is able to land a crit, he'll be able to, it says the reduction is increased to 1 second. So you definitely want to actually land crit hits so that he can always get that active skill cooldown. It's going to be very beneficial for him. So overall, his exclusive equipment is very nice. I really like it. More accuracy, more active skill cooldown. You have status effect immunity, blocking incoming projectile attacks. Very, very good overall. Now let's go ahead and take a look at his gameplay. So as you guys can see, the first thing he did was activate the active skill where he dashes towards the enemy and attacks them from behind. Pause. But that's the first thing he does. So that's going to be a really huge thing when it comes to, building when it comes to equipping the best ignition weapon set for him. You guys can see the constant magic resistance shred. You guys can see this attack increase. This is insane. Look how many times he's increasing his attack. Like, this is just crazy. Like, he's increasing his attack so much constantly and shredding the enemy's magic resistance, which allows him to do even more damage. And then we can use his ultimate right here. We're going to play the animation. I actually want to play the animation one time. Okay, it didn't actually play this time. We're going to play it right over here. So this is his ultimate animation. This is badass. I love his ultimate animation. But this ultimate deals crazy damage. Like, the amount of damage he can deal with this ultimate is insane. Look at that. That's where his true damage lies. It's his ultimate. Every time he does his ultimate, it's like a nuclear bomb. Insane. So his kit, his kit is just stacked. Kit is extremely stacked. And this is a very powerful warrior character. All right, now here we go. The most important part about guides is the best build. So the ignition weapon set that I'm currently running on my white is Rihanna set. And the reason why I'm running Rihanna set is because, like I said, the first thing he does when he enters battle is he pretty much targets the enemy who's far away from him, and he can sometimes one-shot them. So the fact that that's like the first thing he does, he's able to easily activate the 4-piece set effect. So when we look at Rihanna set, he's getting that additional attack increase, which is very good. And then for the 4-piece set effect, It says Rihanna's ambition activates when a wielder enters battle and remains until the first attack lands. Ambition grants the wielder immunity to status effects, and the wielder's next attack is guaranteed to land with a 300% increase to their attack. So the fact that I have him maxed out and I have his 500 energy, he'll be able to use his ultimate. That's like the second thing he's going to do. He's going to receive that 300% attack increase, and that's all going to his ultimate. So he's pretty much like one tapping with like the Rihanna set. Is absolutely insane. So Rihanna set is very, very powerful on him because it works really well for him. Plus, he can easily activate it, and he's benefiting from the attack increase. Now, another ignition weapon set that is also very, very good on white is Sundance. And the reason why is because he benefits from, basic attack. He has, like, every character can do basic attack, but he relies on basic attack. Like, he's not amplifying his own basic attack damage, but he's relying on it. Like, when you look at his exclusive equipment, you guys can see that it says right here, when he uses a basic attack against a target marked with Mark of Thirst. So, he has a lot of basic attack involved in his kit, so therefore Sundance can benefit him. And when you look at the whole set, increases his accuracy, and then for the 4-piece set effect, the warrior's basic attack ignores 20% of the target's defense and deals 200% of their attack as additional damage. So he's ignoring defense, and on top of that, dealing 200% of his attack as additional damage. So Sundance is also a great option for white. And some people are also using Idea Set because they wanted to use his ultimate immediately so that he can one tap enemies, because his true damage lies in his ultimate. So Idea Set pretty much allows him to get more energy so that he can use his ultimate immediately. He can probably use it like 2 or 3 times with Idea Set. So Idea Set is also a decent option. And I think that's pretty much it. Like, when some people might try like a 2-piece Abgrun with like a 2-piece Rihanna, or they might try like 2-piece Ill Set and then 2-piece Sundance. Me personally, I feel like full-piece sets are way more beneficial. Sometimes, there's an exception when you have characters like Evankel, but for white, he doesn't really have a best ignition weapon right now, but the top options for him are Sundance, Rihanna, and I'll say Idea as well. Idea Set is also a decent option. But for me, I'm running Rihanna Set because he gets that huge attack increase, and it just allows him to do a lot of damage. But for Sundance, it pretty much allows him to do a lot of damage over time. He'll be able to, gradually increase his damage with Sundance. Meanwhile, for Rihanna Set, he's like instantly one tapping with his ultimate, which is really, really good. So I'm running a Rihanna Set. Now for Zila Set, some people are thinking about Zila Set, and honestly, I wouldn't run Zila Set on him because you don't want to run physical and magic resistance on him if you already have him maxed out. Like, if you have 0 copies on him, then sure, you can use Zila Set, but I would prefer a set to pretty much increase his overall damage. And the fact that he is a magic damage type character, there's not a lot of sets that can benefit magic DPS users. So until we just have to wait for Netmarble to drop like an ignition weapon set that benefits magic damage type units, and once they drop that, then that set is probably going to be best in slot for him. But as up to right now, it's going to be Sundance, Rihanna, actually Idea right here, and then we have Rihanna right over here. These are like the top 3 ignition weapons for him as of to right now. Like, these ignition weapons are actually pretty good for him. Now, when it comes to your sub stats, so the top stats that you want to focus on for white. So number 1, of course, you want to get magic and physical resistance so that you can increase his survivability. And the reason why is because he is a melee damage type unit. So he's going to draw a lot of aggro from the enemy because he's literally attacking the enemy like he's in the front lines. He's attacking the enemies face to face. He's not a long range unit. So you're going to need a lot of magic and physical resistance so that he can actually stay alive and deal a lot of damage over time. So getting magic and physical resistance is very important. But another great stat is crit rate, because crit rate you'll be able to, increase the chances of you dealing insane crit damage, and at the same time it's going to benefit his exclusive equipment level 4. So getting crit rate as a substat is also pretty nice. And then for your fourth substat slot, it can be like your flex slot. You can get crit damage increase, you can get magic pierce, or you can get some accuracy or evasion. But honestly, for accuracy, he already gets, a decent amount of accuracy from his exclusive equipment. So you can choose magic pierce or crit damage increase. It really depends on, how your stats are looking like so far. But for me, I am focusing on, crit rate, magic and physical resistance, and getting that magic pierce increase. Now for your slot 4 and 5. So for me, I'm running crit damage increase for his slot 4. And then for slot 5, I am running magic pierce. Now, some people are running physical and magic resistance for slot 4 and 5, which is also very good. If you want to get that, 100% magic and physical resistance, go for it. But if you want to focus on, amplifying his damage a lot more, then magic pierce and crit damage increase is the way to go. So for more damage, magic pierce and crit damage increase. For more survivability, magic resistance, and physical resistance. Now, when we take a look at his revolution, this is where things start to get crazy. So, like I said, when it comes to warrior characters, their sub nodes are absolutely dog shit. You have evasion, you have lifesteal, HP, crit damage increase, defense, crit hit resistance, special move resistance, and max cooldown reduction. The only good sub nodes are max cooldown reduction, crit damage increase, and that's pretty much it. And I'll say probably some evasion, but those are like the only 3 useful sub notes for warrior characters. Because when it comes to warrior DPS units, you want to have additional attack to increase their attack. Getting swiftness increase would be nice as well. Getting additional crit rate would be dope. But unfortunately for warrior characters, it's like their sub nodes are just completely useless when it comes to amplifying their damage. The only thing that's useful is the crit damage increase when it comes to amplifying damage, and that's pretty much it. But the good thing is, White's kit is so fucking broken that sub nodes, you don't even have to worry about that. He's broken without it. So when we take a look at his Revolution Tier 4, it says the attack increase obtained from Unquenchable Thirst can no longer be removed with buff removal skills. So enemies cannot remove this buff at all. It is permanent. Like, they cannot take the attack increase away from him. It's always going to activate, which is very good. But the crazy part is the attack increase effect is further increased by an additional 3% while when White enters the battle with 50 stacks of the attack increase effect. This right here is absolutely crazy. The fact that he's able to enter the battle with a 50 stack built already, like, come on now. Like, this is insane. 50 stacks immediately when he enters battle is mind-blowing. So he's pretty much entering the battle with a huge buff in his passive, getting a bunch of attack immediately right off the bat, and he's pretty much able to just one-tap enemies. It's just crazy. So his Revolution Tier 4, very, very good. This is pretty much his passive. And then for his Revolution Tier 5, it says, White's special move Pierce is increased by 20% whenever Flashing Azure Jade Shining Sword of the Dead, that's his ultimate, is used. This is max 5 stacks. So that's pretty much 100% special move Pierce increase, which is absolutely insane. So you don't even have to worry about, losing out on special move Pierce increase from like his sub nodes, because he already gets that through his Revolution Tier 5. And after that, it says the attack coefficient of the blade shards is increased by 240% each time they strike the same target. This is crazy. So overall, like, his Revolution Tier 4 and 5 is insanely broken. It makes him an insanely cracked unit. And like, it's really good the fact that they pretty much included special move Pierce increase. They included more attack increase. So this can pretty much make up for the fact that his sub nodes are absolutely dog shit, because he is a warrior character. So Revolution Tier 4 and 5, very, very good. I feel like if they fumbled on a Revolution Tier 4 and 5, I feel like he wouldn't be a very overpowered unit. But the fact that they made his Revolution Tier 4 and 5 very, very powerful, it pretty much makes up for the fact that the sub notes for warrior characters are dog shit. That doesn't really affect White at all because of these two revolution tiers. And of course, for tier 6, he gets like a 50% attack increase and 30% magic pierce increase in arena PvP. So let's go ahead and talk about team comps. So I was able to make it to floor 71 finally with White. He absolutely carried me because my progression slowed down a bit because my purple element team was just so behind. My Khun Mascheny, she's not built at all. As you guys can see, she's literally at like 0 copies. Like, I don't have her built. But the fact that White is maxed out, my purple element team is solid now. So this is a team that I'm currently running with my White. I'm using Albelda with White, of course, so that she can increase his attack and defense. And on top of that, she's going to give him that invincibility frame, which is going to give him more survivability. Plus, we have Princess Anak right here, and she's going to, allow him to spam his ultimate because his ultimate deals insane fucking damage. So Princess Anak is there to pretty much juice him up, increase his energy so that he can spam his ultimate. Plus, she's increasing his attack speed and attack, which is very good overall. So Princess Anak, very, very good. We have Endorsi, who's pretty much here to shred the enemy's magic resistance so that White can deal a lot more damage. And of course, we have Hayura, who is here to pretty much block enemies' energy. And of course, buff White so that he can receive a bunch of attack. So this team, very, very good. Really enjoying this team. We're going to go ahead and enter battle right here. And another thing is the fact that White is a warrior character. His survivability, he's really tanky. Like, he actually receives a lot of damage, which is very good for a warrior character. But the thing is, with low dupes, the fact that he's receiving this much damage, as you guys can see, he immediately dashes to the back and he's receiving all that aggro. Everybody's paying attention to him because he's literally in the center of the battlefield. He's the center of attention. So therefore, he's drawing all that attention from the enemy. So running magic and physical resistance on him is also very important. But look how much damage he takes. 37 billion damage. He's taking more damage than Endorsi. So he draws a lot of aggro from the enemy. So therefore, putting that physical magic resistance on him to increase his survivability is a good call. But if you want to, amplify his damage so that he can one-shot enemies, then magic pierce and crit damage increase is also the way to go as well. So that team is just absolutely insane. Now, another team, of course, if we just put just a purple team, so let's say I put in Vargarv, we put Vargarv in the middle, we take out Princess Anak, we put in an array instead, right? We put in array, and then we also put in Karaka, not Karaka, Reflajo. This team also pretty good because it's a purple team. It's going to benefit White, and he's pretty much the only DPS character in that team. So White is pretty much like a hyper carry unit. You can use him as like a hyper carry character who's going to be your main DPS unit, and he's just going to solo the stage with just support characters. So you guys can see right here, Ayura, she was able to instantly activate that revive. But look at that. Lero, dead. This unit, dead. Ayura is also very, very good because she's able to activate that revive for White so that he can always stay alive. So if your White has poor survivability, using Ayura with White pretty much allows him to keep coming back to life so that he'll be able to, deal insane damage. Because once he dies, you pretty much lost because he's like your only damage dealing unit in this team. So, man, he's just an absolute menace. Just a crazy warrior character. Like, by far, the best warrior DPS unit in the game, 100%, no debate. He is the best warrior character in the game. You guys thought that was it? You guys thought that was the end of the guide video? Hell no. This guy is a beast against bosses, which is absolutely crazy. You guys know when it comes to bosses, the #1 unit people talk about is Kaiser. But White, this guy is another unit that a lot of people are going to talk about in the boss meta. He is an absolute menace against bosses. And the reason why is because he has so much magic resistant shred. And the fact that he has so much attack increase just makes him crazy against bosses. And he's able to deal like 2 billion for me. He's able to deal like 2 billion damage in like a second. Like that is just insane. My Kaiser can't even do that. I mean, sure, she's not maxed out, but she can't deal like 2 billion damage instantly. Meanwhile, my White, he can do that. So this team right here, this is what I'm using against Gusting. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys, what his damage looks like against bosses. It is just insane. I was not expecting White to be an insane boss unit, and I'm really curious to see his performance against White Still Ill. You guys can see right here, 2 billion damage already, and it's only been like 2 seconds. Insane. So we are gonna have the new White Still Ill boss. I think in a couple weeks here. So I really want to see how White is going to perform against the new White Still Ill boss in Alliance. And if he ends up being like insane against the new White Still Ill boss, that changes everything, because that pretty much gives us a lot more options. If you don't have a Kaiser built, then you have White as another option, which is very good. So, for all the people who's wondering, is White good against bosses? Yes, he is an absolute menace. Very, very powerful. So the reason why I have Princess Anak is because she's able to allow him to spam his ultimate against bosses. As you guys can see, as soon as Princess Anak puts down that field or ultimate, he's just going to spam his ultimate. And it's just going to be crazy damage overall. So you guys can see right here, 3.7 billion damage. 3.7 billion damage is absolutely insane. And we're going to hit that. I think we're going to hit that 3.8 billion. Can we? We couldn't. Oh, we were so close. But 3.7 billion damage is nothing to sleep on. That is very, very good. As you guys can see right here, 1 trillion damage. 1 trillion damage against bosses. Very, very good. Even against the new Giga boss, he dealt like 4.7 billion damage. And then for my Kaiser, she dealt like 2.4 billion. But of course, she is at 1 red star, so I'm not going to sit here and try to compare both of them, but I'm just really showing you guys his potential against bosses, and that he is another option if you don't have Kaiser built. If you don't have her built, then White is another great option against bosses. Very, very powerful. Plus, he takes a lot more damage. Like the fact that he's able to take a lot more damage against bosses is very beneficial. And another good thing is, since he is a warrior melee type unit, he pretty much benefits from Hwarun's pathway, because Hwarun's pathway, like she always targets the enemy versus your allies. So you can't really buff allies who are standing on the pathway. They can't receive that, attack boost from her pathway. But the fact that White is a melee unit and he's fighting alongside with Hwarun, he is standing on that pathway and he's receiving that 100% attack increase. So this also makes him very, very good with Hwarun, and it's just really solid. Plus, she has that crit rate increase right here. As you guys can see, it says crit rate increase by 40%. So Hwarun and White also a pretty good duo. And that's not even it. That's not even it. There is still more. This guy is an absolute menace in PvP. So for ranked PvP, I'm currently a Royal 66. But this guy is an absolute monster in PvP. And the reason why is because, number one, the fact that he's able to one tap with his ultimate and he deals insane damage. Plus, you have the Revolution tier 6 buff for Arena, makes him a lot more powerful. So we're gonna do one fight right here. Let me go ahead and buy this ticket. It only costs 100 suspendium. We'll buy that. But we're gonna do this one battle right here, and let's see if we can actually win this. So for the first round, this guy is using a purple team. Second round, he's using Yiwa. He's AoE, so that's gonna be a problem. And then for round 3, he's using Kaiser alongside with Caliban and Trauma Ray. So we're gonna go ahead and run this fade. We're gonna run this battle, and let's see if we can actually win this. So let's enter it, man. I'm nervous, but you guys are gonna see how insane this guy is in PvP. So let's do it. First round, we're definitely gonna win this because we have Trauma Ray. Trauma Ray is a menace in PvP. Like, he's just a monster. I'll say like the top units are Evankel, Trauma Ray. I'll say Punisher is also pretty good in PvP. Yiwa, like units who deal AoE damage are very powerful. So for second round, we lost that, but for third round, let's see if we actually win it. Ooh, we actually lost the third round. So I'm actually not surprised because that dude has a maxed out Yiwa, but you guys can see how much damage he can deal in PvP. It is very impressive. So he is definitely a PvP unit. If you guys are wondering, is he good in PvP? Yes, he is very, very powerful in PvP, and I recommend you guys to use him. So let's just do one more attempt over here in regular arena. We're gonna come over here in regular arena. Uh, let's find a fair fight. So this guy has 41 billion power, all maxed out characters. Let's see if we win this. We're gonna click quick result. If we actually win this, that's actually crazy. Like he has like maxed out units with Revolution tier 6. And if I beat this, that's mind blowing. But look at that. I mean, this is insane. We look at the stats, 273 billion damage, man. This guy's a menace. He is a menace in PvP. Let's go ahead and replay it and actually watch the gameplay. But he is a menace in PvP. Definitely a top tier PvP unit. He is carrying me in PvP. Like, if you're wondering about using him in PvP, go for it because he is very powerful. So look at this right here. Ultimate instantly one taps. Right? Goes for his next victim. Yi-Ring, dead. That is a hard dead. He's a monster. He is a monster. 273 billion damage, man. Wow. This unit is just very powerful. Now, there's some debates going around. People talk about, is White better than Khun Mascheny or is Khun Mascheny better than White? So, here's what I'm going to say. First things first, two units are completely different. Khun Mascheny is a range type unit and White is a melee type unit. So, right off the bat, White has more, like, White is way more tanky than Khun Mascheny, but Khun Mascheny doesn't draw as much aggro compared to White because White is literally charging the enemy. He is in the front line, so therefore he is drawing a bunch of aggro, and the enemy, they're all focusing on White. So the chances of him staying alive is far less likely than Khun Mascheny. But he is still tankier than Khun Mascheny because if they end up putting their hands on Khun Mascheny, she's dead. She's instantly dead. But if your whole team is still alive and they can't put their hands on Khun Mascheny, then she's just going to instantly wipe the floor. Like I've seen it multiple times. I've used, my friends Khun Mascheny. She's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So both units are very, very powerful. But I will say Khun Mascheny still has the upper hand due to the fact that she is a range damage type unit. And when you look at her revolution, she has all of these insane bonus stats. You have accuracy, you have attack speed increase, you have additional attack, crit damage increase, right? You have basic attack pierce increase, max cooldown reduction. Her sub nodes are just far better than White's. So therefore, she does have the upper hand. But does that mean that White is a bad unit? No, White is actually broken. It's just that compared to Khun Mascheny, both units, they have their ups and downs. I will say for Khun Mascheny, if the enemy finds a way on how to, deal damage or put their hands on her, she's instantly dead. Like she's actually squishy as fuck compared to White. But the chances of her receiving damage from the enemy is far less likely than White because she is a range unit and she's not really approaching the enemy. She's just in the back row, minding her own business, dealing damage. So both units have their pros and cons, but at the end of the day, they're both still very, very powerful. So if you don't have Khun Mascheny built White because White is actually insane, very powerful warrior DPS unit, literally the best warrior character in the entirety of this game. Like he is the warrior meta, extremely powerful. So the biggest question is this unit worth the investment? So I tested White with low copies before I maxed him out. I tested him out with low copies, and I will say White is still powerful with low dupes for beginner players. Like if you are a new player and you were lucky enough to get one copy on white, then he is going to carry you at the early game. And every unit is powerful at the early game. Every unit is really good at low deficit. But once you progress and once you reach the late game, zero copies is not going to carry you far. You either need 4 orange stars or above, because 4 orange stars is going to give you Revolution Tier 4. And if you don't have Revolution Tier 4, then that's not going to really carry you as far if you don't have his Revolution Tier 4. So therefore, for beginner players with zero copies, he's going to be very crazy for you. But for players who are at the late game, if you are trying to, invest in white, I recommend you to reach at least 4 orange stars or above. If you don't have the ability to reach 4 orange stars, I would just wait. I would just wait and I wouldn't, invest in him because you don't have that ability to do so. So definitely a powerful warrior character. And plus we have collaboration coming in like a couple weeks. So we are going to have the live stream on November 18th, the collaboration live stream, and they're going to give us more details. So white is still going to be in the game by November 18th. So if you are still deciding if you want to save for collaboration or white, you can decide by November 18th when they reveal the collaboration characters. But I will say white is definitely a great unit for purple element. He gives us a lot more options because purple element was very like purple element was suffering when it comes to DPS characters because we only had two characters, which were Khun Mascheny and Vivi. They were the only options for purple element. But the fact that we have white now we have multiple options for purple element, and now people will be able to progress in trial area more efficiently. And purple element trial, I know a lot of people are going to zoom through this because of white. So this unit overall, if I were to rate him from 1 to 10, he is a 9 out of 10 unit. 9 out of 10. Very, very powerful. The only I'll say there's two disadvantages for white. Number one, you have to max him out. I feel like for him, you just have to, because that's where his true value lies. And that's when you're going to see how much of a monster he is with max copies. Plus, the fact that he is a warrior character, he draws a lot of aggro. So his survivability can be questionable because he is a warrior character. Therefore, you have to build magic and physical resistance and you're losing out on some damage. But his kit makes up for it. So those are like the only two disadvantages for him. But other than that, it was crazy damage, absolutely godly against bosses, absolutely busted in PvP, really good in PvE as well. He's a great unit. And I'm actually happy that this unit is really good, because if this unit was trash, that would have been a devastating blow to purple element. So good job to the devs. They did not let us down. White is a cracked unit, and I definitely recommend you guys to invest in this character if you have the ability to do so. So that's pretty much it for today's guide video on white. Make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. I really appreciate it. And tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you see any more disadvantages, put them down in the comment section. If you see any more advantages, put them in the comment section. I want to see y'all's analysis and opinion. But I hope you guys have a good one. I'll be catching you guys on the next one. Peace.